What's up everybody, Panick23 here, coming at you with another video, this time featuring my legend run in GBL Season 7. In these battles I'm going to be using a team designed by Dunebug97, which is Umbreon lead with Dark Pulse, and Azu with Ice Beam, Hydro Pump, and Tropius. These are going to be my last two sets prior to hitting Legend. I won't spoil it, but obviously I do well, so stay tuned for the battles. I want to give a special shout out to Boyos for the edit, and if you are enjoying this content, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the battles. We've got Umbreon versus Abomasnow. Abomasnow destroys my back two Pokemon, and was one of the hardest leads that I came up against. Now the main reason for running Dark Pulse here is it does pick up G-Fisk in the Zero Shield. Dark Pulse is only 5 more energy, but hits a bit harder than Foul Play, which makes it so Umbreon sometimes only has to throw 2 charge moves instead of 3. My opponent going up to Energy Ball, and I want to overfarm and throw before they get to another one. I'm most likely going to draw a shield here. And my opponent counting perfectly gets to the Weather Ball. I don't think I'm going to live, so I decide to shield. And I under tap, but Abomasnow wins CMP, so at this point I'm just going to let it go. And currently at 2,947 ELO, coming off the back of a 5-0. So here, like I said, the Abomasnow is a really big issue for me. They have Sableye, so I'm assuming it's Azu in the back. Gonna be throwing the Leaf Blade here. Shields down, this is not a great spot to be in. Tried to swap, because I know it's the Azu in the back, but at that point I'm already in Ice Beam range, so I'm not looking in a good spot. Now my Azumarill is a rank 40 XL Pokemon, has 3 attack, 15 defense, and 14 HP. I definitely recommend XL Azu if you can. They make a nice swap into their Azumarill, catch my Ice Beam, and going to top left. Gonna be going into my next game here. Umbreon versus Venusaur. Shadow Venusaur gonna be hitting super hard. See if I can pull this one out. Back is against the wall. A 5-0 would have done it from this range, but I don't think a 4-1 will do it. I'll let the first one go because it won't KO. And we're gonna try and get to this Dark Pulse before the next Frenzy Plant so I can at least put some pressure on. My opponent comes out of this with a ton of energy. Oh no, they decide to throw right away. Okay, I'm gonna let it go and try to farm down with Tropius. My opponent makes a really nice undercharge, farms me down. And I'm hoping not to get hit by a Sludge, and 2 Air Slashes does it. Gonna see Basti. I'm gonna farm up to the Leaf Blade, swap out. Draw the Sableye out. Farm up to the Play Rough, which is 6 bubbles, and throw the Ice Beam. If they don't shield this, the Sableye would just get deleted. But they do decide to shield. I am up 2 shields. It is a very easy bait here. I decide to shield and play it safe. And I think I double shield, yeah. I have to shield the return here. I have to be able to Hydro Pump the Tropius. I'm gonna overfarm. Throw the Ice Beam and look to bubble down. I might get 1 or 2 bubbles left. My opponent throws the Foul Play, which is fine. I'm going to do 1 Hydro Pump and then swap out. Into the Tropius, I do have a Leaf Blade stored. 1 won't be enough, but 2 will be. Notice I throw my fast attack prior to swapping in. to make sure I don't give my opponent a free fast move. I'll be smashing that Leaf Blade before they get to the Stone Edge, which would probably knock out from that range. It'd be close. But Venusaur, obviously another tough lead. Have to keep my Azu away from it, so gonna be go ahead and jump into the next battle. We've got Umbreon versus Pelipper. This is another matchup where Dark Pulse really helps. Gonna throw the Dark Pulse here. My opponent's farming up to the Hurricane. Energy Ball or Weather Ball is more energy efficient. So I'm gonna throw Dark Pulse here before they even throw a charge move. And put the pressure on them to shield. They swap into G-Fist, which is fine, so they farmed up with a ton of energy on the Pelipper. Now at this point, when I see the Stunfisk, I'm thinking it's Basti in the back. Pelipper double tank is a very common line. So I want to keep the Tropius away from the Basti. I could be completely wrong, could be a different team comp. I'm gonna do some over farming here. Throw the Leaf Blade to KO. Might get a shield. Do get a shield, which is interesting. I'm gonna save my shield and aggressively bubble down, I wanna say. Yes. Because the Umbreon is fine versus the Basti in the back, if it is Basti. I think I no shield this, it is the Rock Slide. I come out of this with a bunch of energy. They're gonna Hurricane me. I'm gonna shield. I have to be careful with my timing here. They could potentially sack swap to try and throw in the middle of their wing attack to ensure that they can't swap. Ice Beam, and it does end up being a Meganium. It's going to be some racing to the charge move here. I make a little bit of a mistake here. I should have stayed in with the Azu to get the Ice Beam off. Now this Meganium has an opportunity to farm. Because 2 Dark Pulses won't KO. What I should have done was stayed in with the Azu, shielded, Ice Beamed, and then gone into Umbreon, because I would have only needed 1 Ice Beam and 1 Dark Pulse. Instead, I potentially throw 2 Dark Pulses. My opponent throws right away, which is nice for me, and I get to ensure this matchup by shielding this Frenzy Plant here. So I should have just went Azu into the G-Fisk, and then my Tropius would have been paired against the Meganium. So I made a little bit of a misread there, but it ended up working out in the end. Currently 2-1 in this set. Queue times were a little bit long, so we're gonna go ahead and swap or skip forward. It is the Umbreon Mirror. Some of these matches are quite long because Umbreon is so thick. XL Azu is thick, and Tropius is also thick as well, so going to be trying to sneak in a fast move and deny any potential extra fast moves from my opponent. Do have to be wary of some timeouts with this team. See a little bit of a desync, which could cause one of us to get an extra fast move. Doesn't look like that's happened just yet. No free fast move for me there either. This really comes down to IVs at this point, or if someone can sneak in, or if somebody lags. So you can see they're winning CMP. They swap into their Azu. They're at 2 bubbles. 3, 4, 5. Try and sneak one in. And I do not, so I'm gonna eat the Ice Beam. XL Azu can actually win the Zero Shield, which is pretty wild. This won't KO, and this Azu is going to get to the Ice Beam. I'm just gonna let it go and probably aggressively bubble down. I do this a bunch of times, and this is to help gain some energy in the back. And they swap into their Umbreon, which is interesting. I'm trying to think what could be in the back. It could be a G-Fisk. Gonna farm up extra without getting hit with a foul play or last resort. See what comes out. It is a Venusaur, which isn't great for me. However, I do have some extra energy. Both even shields. I have to be really careful about bringing the Umbreon back in. I also have to be careful of the sack. Even if I successfully catch, they could just undercharge Vine Whip me down. So I decide to swap here, put some pressure on with the Dark Pulse. This won't get the shield. And I might be able to get to another one. And they might commit to a farm down. They throw there. I have to shield this at this point because I have the move. And the Venusaur would just outpace my Azu. Basically just hoping for a mistake here on my opponent's part. The timer is coming up. They KO me. I'm almost at the Ice Beam on my Azu. There's 1 second, literally 0 seconds on the clock. They bring back in their Azumarill. And I KO. And the way it works is, if you have this even number of Pokemon left, it's whoever has more health on their Pokemon. And as you can see, that is a photo finish. That is a photo finish. Like, can you even tell who has more HP? Like, look at that. Now it's a little tough because it's grayed out, but I mean, they look to have the exact same. And I think because of my XL Azu, I win that game. So, pretty crazy one. Pretty crazy game. Sometimes you need a little bit of luck to cross the finish line. And at this point it is about 2 a.m. for me, so I am getting tired. I did play, this is my 8th set, so just mental fatigue is coming in, so I have to stay focused. I get a great lead in Defense Deoxys, so when I see a DD lead, I assume Azu in the back with Umbreon or G-Fisk, pretty common for, so I throw the Dark Pulse here. It's really weird that they're staying in, they're farming up. Maybe they try and catch a Dark Pulse somewhere where it's not supposed to, like on an Azu. So at this point I throw. It's a pretty easy sack there into their Umbreon, but I do have alignment. I am going to farm up again to the Dark Pulse, which is fine. And then dip out into my Azu. Umbreon is pretty spammy. I get the extra bubble, which is really nice. You can just see that this Azu does not care. And it is best buddied because I was missing a couple of the power-ups, but after best buddying it, I was able to get the extra power-ups that I needed, so Best Buddy slot does not need to be applied. Throw the Ice Beam here, which probably won't KO, probably get a bubble or two farm. Need a foul play here. Their DD can come in and counter me down, but I will be able to get to a move, so let's see if they reveal their third. They throw right away, which is good for me. I have the Dark Pulse on the Umbreon. I expect them to swap here, so I'm not going to throw right away. I swap into my Tropius. And this game is pretty much over at this point. I have the move for the Deoxys. I've got my Tropius on the Azu right where it's supposed to be. There were a lot of fighters that I encountered in previous sets, so I definitely think you need Air Slash with Umbreon lead. I will shield to keep my Tropius healthy. Do need to be careful of the defense Deoxys coming in to throw the charge move. So I'm gonna shield and be ready to swap out in case the DD comes back in. Switch timer is up. I'm over farming to make sure they don't sack. This could be a good time to swap. I'm watching the top right corner. They throw the Ice Beam. Here comes the Deoxys, I see it. Immediately swap and catch the Psycho Boost, presumably. A Rock Slide on the Umbreon. Just fine. I farm up to just about 2 Dark Pulses. And going to look to KO this DD and KO the Azumarill. Timer is coming up. For the last resort, which KOs. And we win at the buzzer. So that's a 4-1. Let's skip ahead of me catching this Rufflet. It's not what you're here for. I go up to 29.88, so I am kind of in reach of a 3-2. So we'll see if I can clutch up here. This is the 10th set occurring on Monday, the 26th. So this is when Ultra League comes back. And I really wanted to hit it in Great League just because it's tough to jump into a new meta and do well right away. So that's why I did my sets after midnight. Just want to give a big shout out once again to Dunebug97 for hanging out on the call. In my eyes, he's the best battler. So we got a Flygon lead, shiny Flygon. Also happens to be my Mazer teammate. So this is a really weird lead, and I'm thinking they need to have an anti-fairy in the back. So my opponent makes a really nice swap into Alolan Ninetales. I'm going to wait and see if it's Charm or Powder Snow. It is Powder Snow, so I go into my Azu. If it was Charm, I would go into Tropius. And when I see the A9, I'm wondering if this is double Charm. So I just decide to go for the pump. They typically don't shield when it's Powder Snow because Powder Snow just loses this matchup very, very hard. And this is an Earth Power, but I'm not going to shield. I'm going to pray that my Azu can get to this Ice Beam, which would KO this Flygon. 1 HP in a dream. XL Azu. Showing what it's made of. It's been in the gym. Surviving by 1 HP. I let the Azumarill go down. I bring in my Tropius. Which I don't know if this is the right play because I did kind of think it was double Charm. But the Earth Powers were going to hurt, so it is a Shadow Gardevoir. I'm going to throw the Leaf Blade here. I'm going to sync up. And this almost KOs. 1 Air Slash down, I'll be able to Leaf Blade the Flygon. I still have my shield. I'm in a comfortable spot. I actually decide to let this go. Save this shield for the Umbreon. Throw the Dark Pulse, which might almost KO. Flygon's pretty squishy, so it doesn't appreciate these charge moves. And it almost KOs, and I can just snarl down. And that's game number 1 of our Legend set. The pressure is on. It's the 10th set I'm doing. If I don't make it this set, I have to try and push an Ultra League, which is not my strongest league. Great League is my strongest league, so that's why I wanted to hit it here. Jumping into the next battle, we have a Jellicent lead, which is amazing because I have 2 really good answers. It's Hex. They go into Charm A9, which a little bit of a mistake here. However, it's okay because I keep the Azu away from the Jelly. These A9 with Charm will typically shield your charge moves. And at this point, I'm wondering if my opponent baits, so I decide to let it go. It's a really obvious bait there. And they throw Weather Ball again. So I'm thinking, just based off the last amount of damage, that I can barely get to this pump. I can't eat one more charm, so I just get to the Hydro Pump in time. See if they want to go down 2 shields. They don't. And bring back in the Jellicent to Hex me down. I'm going to go into my Umbreon here. They swap into Medicham, and that's about as RPS as you can get. Just hard counters for everything. The bait on the A9 was crucial. Crucial, because if I lost switch advantage, my Umbreon would have been against the Medicham. I'm going to farm up extra here. I'm going to Leaf Blade. It is more energy efficient. They do shield. And I want to get this Medicham out of here. I do not want it to swap out. Switch Summers are coming back up. So I just throw the Aerial Ace to get this out, and I'll be able to KO. And they surrender. At this point I'm 2-0, feeling good. Trying to go positive. I do get hit with some Q times. I do hide my screen to avoid getting sniped. Bear with me 1 minute. So a really nice lead. This team counters Hypno Double Dark very well, so I'm hoping it's Double Dark. They do 1, they swap into Mandibuzz, which is really awesome for me. Swap into my Azumarill. This is going to be a battle of the thick. Trying to avoid the Snarl sneaking through, but not too much I can do about it. I try to sneak one back, but unfortunately I don't get it. Here we go, I get the bubble, which is nice. I'm hoping to be able to throw a charge move into the Hypno as well. I don't want to get Focus Blasted. And I can bubble down. They save their Mandibuzz with 1 HP, bring out their Azu, swap into my Tropius, try to get an extra Air Slash, don't get it. And I'm just RPSing my opponent at this point. I have answers for everything. Hypno into my Umbreon, Mandibuzz into my Azu, and their Azumarill into my Tropius. Now I'm really shocked they didn't save swap Azu to try and win switch and at least get the Mandibuzz on the Umbreon, but I mean, when you lead Umbreon, you have to have an Azumarill counter in the back, right? So grass is always a threat. Make a nice swap into the Mandibuzz. Now at this point I can wait to see what comes back in. However, it's the Azu, and for some weird reason I swap into my own Azu. I could have just stayed, I would have never gotten bubbled down, I could have reached the Leaf Blade, so bit of a misplay, but like I said, currently 2:15 a.m. as you can see on the screen. This is my 48th battle of the night, so I'm starting to get pretty tired. I get to the Ice Beam, which is pretty crucial. And at this point I'm hoping that I'm not lagging, praying that my opponent top left it. However, don't think they did, they just bubbled me down. And I'm gonna go into my Tropius here after waiting out the timer, and my opponent does top left. So 3-0, 3-0. Will this be enough? Can I get this next win to secure it? Another jelly lead, which is really nice. I caught a lot of nice leads here. So they switch into a normal type, and previously I thought it was a Vigoroth. It was a Vigoroth that came out before. So I go into Azu thinking it is Vig. I'm not going to shield the Azu because I'm thinking it's going to be a fighter in the back, or basically I don't need to save my Azu because both my Pokemon can beat the jelly. They decide to bait me. I try to get to the Hydro Pump, but I CMP tie in the Ice Beam, which is kind of unfortunate for me. I'm gonna go into Umbreon here. These licks are resisted. I'm gonna overfarm. Throw the Dark Pulse. I'm gonna try an undercharge so I can get at least one more Snarl. I do get one more Snarl, which is nice. It looks like my opponent stopped tapping, which is even better. Powder Snow A9, so I'm in trouble here. I mean, Umbreon's Snarls are resisted. 2 shields up. They get an extra run through, which is not great. I'm gonna have to make a crazy play at some point. I'm hoping I don't get Dazzling Gleamed. So I do call the Gleam. I throw the Dark Pulse because it is in range now. And I'm gonna look to make a sack swap. And I get the swap. Now, it's possible my opponent throws Weather Ball. Looking back on it, this was kind of a silly play. I could have just stayed in with Umbreon, tried to KO and farm down with the Tropius, but I do end up catching the Dazzling Gleam. And it is running Bubble, which is better for my Tropius. I end up just probably letting this go, I would imagine. Do the move, I throw because they overfarmed. I have to be careful of the A9 in the back with a move. Catching the Dazzling Gleam depleted them of all their energy. They decide not to shield. I think my opponent just recognized that it was over, and this secures the 4-0, which will get me to Legend, but don't go anywhere, as we have an insane game number 10. Game number 5 of the second set. Can I secure the 5-0? Coming up against another Legend trying to gatekeep me. I get another DD lead, another positive lead for Umbreon. My opponent swaps out. This time I see it coming. Swap into my Azumarill. I'm going to fast forward this matchup for you. They shield my Ice Beam. They end up running Shadow Ball. Skip forward again and we'll resume things. Battle of the Thick. Shadow Ball aerially Snarl. Really interesting. My opponent goes down 2 shields, which is a really interesting play. Now they swap into their Azumarill shields down. This is not looking good for them. Can I clutch this? 5-0 to hit legend. I decide not to shield. Opponent could swap here if the switch timer is up, but I don't think it quite is. Opponent might get to the Ice Beam, which they do. Tropius has done its job to take out the Azumarill, so I'm going to let it go. I think I go maybe for a Snarl down here, or a Bubble down. Snarl down, and they bring their Defense Deoxys into my Umbreon. Be careful of the catch. No, they're locked in, so I'm actually going to try and 2-shield flex on them here, and try and show off for the 5-0 legend clutch. Let's see if they bring in their Azu or Mandy. I want to put it in Ice Beam range, so I do need to throw a Last Resort into it. This will put it in Ice Beam range, and I think I do a quick swap here. Nope, I'm going to let them throw into me again. Still hanging on to those shields. Swap into the Azu Ice Beam. KO the Mandy. Almost KO. Manda was too thick. Going to not shield again. Really trying to 2-shield flex on him. My Azu survives, which isn't great. The timer is starting to come up. Try and bubble down simultaneous KO. And I Snarl down with 2 seconds remaining. 5-0 to hit legend. Gonna fast forward. And we get that nice clean legend 3065. Clutching it before Great League goes away. I want to give a big shout out again to Dunebug for hanging out in the voice chat. Boy goes for the edit, and if you are interested in coaching sessions, you can sign up in the Patreon link down below. If you're interested in me shoutcasting your battles, you can submit them also in the description down below. I would love to do more of that content. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.